Very good. So what we're going to transition to now is talking about 26.2 and beyond. So I'll reintroduce Cath and Ian into this discussion.
You'll all be sick of me by the end of this.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about the future. But before we do, let's just have a little look at the past. So mission debrief. Let's just have a look at our releases in 2025. If you haven't upgraded to the latest, then just a reminder of what was in these. So openEQUELLA 2025.1. So we enhanced access to the copy, attachment, embed codes, and direct URLs. That was to kind of help out with integrating with LMSs, but lots of other uses as well. We added some OIDC integration improvements for identity mapping, and we streamlined single sign-on experience for institutional users. And then also in that release, we added a loading spinner display for back-end operations that took over a certain amount of time. There was some frustration with end users where that it would let them continue and things weren't quite right. And systemic core dependency upgrades, which we do for every release, and we harden back-end libraries to eliminate tech debt. In 2025.2, we added IDP user mapping for OIDC. So advanced user attribute binding, ensuring precise identity routing and permissions. We also applied the new UI technologies to the favorites page, as well as the dashboard. We introduced the new dashboard editor, and we applied the new UI to a number of portlets, of which we finished the balance of them in 26.1. So moving forward, so 2026.2 and beyond, we have touched on this. Our focus is around security and the admin console, but I'm going to hand over to Ian again to talk to this.
All righty. So as we start working on 26.2 and also looking to the future for some of this, we're going to continue building up that GraphQL communications layer, the new API, because that allows us to look towards what we can do with the admin console. We'll continue looking at opportunities to strengthen openEQUELLA's security standing as we continue to do our penetration tests and hear feedback from clients. And we're going to continue to look towards, once we have that communications foundation there due to the GraphQL layer, looking at moving the admin console into the web so that all those bits of functionality can be in there. So yeah, this is sort of reiterating what we're doing. So in 26.2, we will do further changes to the pre-login notice to further strengthen up the cross-site scripting protections. We have a few plans there. We also have a number of other, I guess, features and changes within openEQUELLA to strengthen that security posture to better reflect things we're seeing in the the current sort of era of security and security attacks. And we're still looking at where we can improve ACLs and all new work as we actually implement it and review it. We make sure the appropriate ACL checks are in there. Yeah.
And before I move to the next slide, Dan, AI has basically decided that we're going to get an extra team member. So just take note there, that guy on the left, like you need to look out for him because he might be like a gun that we need on the team.
Well, Dan and I always joke that we know enough to be dangerous. So maybe we're transitioning across
Okay,
to
you out.
I have more hair. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, two other areas where we're hoping to look at as we go forward. We mentioned that there is a new version of the Moodle module in this release, and that was mainly to match the API requirements that Moodle have done with their new versions. But there are further improvements we want to make to the Moodle module itself, such as improving the authentication options that it offers, as well as improving the configuration of that module because it can somewhat be cumbersome. And if you have confusing configuration, then sometimes you can configure it in a suboptimal security setup. So we'll look to see if we can improve that sometime in the future. And then, although we want to transition the admin console to the web, in the meantime, while it's still around, we will continue to do patch releases of that to make sure it has all the dependencies up to date and it's also in the best standing for security. Yeah, and this is reiterating again this move to try and get the admin console into the web browser sort of as soon as we can, but it is a big job, and that's after we've got the foundation there.
Hence the use of the word light years.
Excellent.
Yep. Okay, do we have any questions?
And yeah, again, feel free to come off mute if you'd like to ask questions. But again, to reiterate what Cath and Ian had flagged, yeah, the 26.2 release will, very much focus on that admin console layer and completing as much of that as possible. And then we'll transition in 27.x and beyond into the admin console, transitioning from its current formatting into the web. We don't have defined timelines just for that, in terms of when that gets completed, as Ian just flagged. It is a significant piece of work, as much because it's where all of the power of the platform currently resides. So we'll keep you up to date as we're making that progress. And hello, Michelle.
Sorry, hello there. Is that working?
It is.
Just a question as well, with focus on the tools. What's the future for the BERT reporting tool?
Yeah, so the current plan is that the BERT reporting tool does remain the reporting option within openEQUELLA.
Yep.
We do need to relook at addressing the report designer, as BERT itself has sort of moved on to what it supports and that kind of thing. It is still on our radar, but yes, it is still how we plan to do reports.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we haven't had that as high on our priority list as much because over the last number of years, most of the reporting that clients have asked us to do, they've either been doing on their own, and there was a session that Nelson took in last year's Edalexpo in terms of the different ways in which the data can feed into other institutional reporting sources, and so that's that combined with engaging our team to develop reports has been where most of the questions have been relating to report for the last couple of years. But yeah, it's definitely on the roadmap, for us to tackle.
Thank you. Thanks for confirming that. Sorry, lower my hand. There we go.
No dramas. Any other questions from anybody? Otherwise, yeah, we certainly hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and can start, as we mentioned, thinking about what your upgrade pathways look like. We see that as being more important than it's ever been, that you have those timelines in mind and you work with our team as appropriate. Yeah, final questions before we officially close. Our team will hang around for the next 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, final questions. Sam Parker just mentioned some additional usage visualizations could be good for the future. Again, Cath or Ian, I'm not sure if there's any commentary on that. That might just be more something that we think about offline.
Yeah, I think the usage visualizations relates to some requirements we captured a few years back, and so we still have the requirements around that. Just yeah, we still have that information to hopefully one day look at.
Terrific. Well, yeah, on that note, I might officially close Edalexpo 2026.
One more question,
A late breaking one. So Maboo, for the use of AI-based automatic metadata generation, how would the costs be allocated? Subscription-based or standard inclusion within renewal? So as I alluded to, Maboo, the actual setup we would do via a consulting engagement, but we're using your AI tools in that particular case. So it's not utilizing our infrastructure as such, but utilizing yours. And so the cost would be something that you and your institution would get billed for in that scenario.